Welcome to the Embrace Strength podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Crocker. I am an experienced trainer and active life professional. I work with people who are struggling with nagging pain to get back to the activities they love without fear of re-injury. This podcast is here to educate and provide value to you on all things health, fitness, staying active, and personal development. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome to the first episode of something I'm calling Feisty Fridays, which is what I'm going to call my solo episodes that are going to be coming out on Fridays. And I'm going to chat through topics to educate you guys. And I'm calling it Feisty Friday because I tend to get fired up about these things because this is my job and I am passionate. And so excited about this little series. And today, in the first episode, we're going to talk about back pain because back pain is a common issue nowadays. I have worked with a lot of people who are dealing with back pain, and a lot of people think back pain is normal as you get older. But just because it is common doesn't mean that it is normal. So I'm going to chat through, if you are my client and you come into me with back pain, here's what I would do. Here's the process. And then I'm going to talk through some common threads that I have seen when training people with back pain and helping them get out of back pain. So first off, step one, if you were my client, we would go through a hefty intake process where we're just having a conversation. I am learning all about you, your history. When did your back start bothering you? What does it actually feel like? What irritates it? What makes it feel better? When do you have flare-ups? Do you have lingering soreness? What type of pain is it? Dull pain, sharp pain? What does that hold you back from doing? If you didn't have back pain, what are some things that you would do? Because what I see is that people are not doing activities they want to do or living life the way they want to live due to their back pain or fear that they're going to get a flare-up in their back. And this makes me really sad, and it's why I do what I do, to help people move past this so that they can really live the life they want to live. Because if you're not able to go hiking with your family, or you're not able to try new things with your kids or try new things with your spouse because of your back pain, I mean, that sucks. And most of the time, back pain is something that can be fixed. It's not like this sentence to being in pain forever. Even if you have a slipped disc or bulging disc or whatever, you can recover from that and you can become stronger. And so anyways, there's that conversation around all of that. And then we will go through my flexibility and mobility assessment, where I am looking at your body joint by joint, and we're checking out the range of motion. We're really breaking things down side to side so I can see what areas, or do you have any areas with limitations? Whether that be in your hips, in your hamstrings, in your knees, whatever. A lot of times, chances are, if you are dealing with some kind of back pain, you're going to have some flexibility and mobility issues too, because we have back pain for a reason, and it doesn't just show up out of nowhere, right? So that is step one. And I would say, I guess the second step is the assessment. But I would say some common things for people with back pain that show up on the assessment are not being able to reach down to the floor and touch your toes while keeping your knees straight. A lot of times when people are dealing with back pain, they are not able to touch the floor. They maybe get down to their knees or their shins, but they're not able to touch the floor. And this person might also be the person who is in the gym ripping deadlifts off the floor like hotcakes, all right? Which you should not be doing if you don't have that range of motion. Or maybe you're somebody that throws your back out every time you have to pick up the laundry basket or every time you pick up a box from Amazon. And so that could be something that's going on. So we're really looking at that flexibility and mobility first as that first layer of like what's actually going on. And then based on what I see there, it helps me decide on what kind of strength testing should we be doing. I am probably going to do a mix of strength balance testing and something called competency testing, which competency testing basically means like what movement patterns are we able to do with the pain that we're having. So if you're somebody who you're not currently exercising at all due to pain, you're probably going to have more of the competency testing because I'm just checking out, okay, what can we tolerate? Because my whole goal as your coach is to meet you exactly where you're at. I'm not just slapping any program at you. I am meeting you where you're at and giving you things that make sense for you and your body. Because I could have 2 clients with back pain and I take them through all this testing. The reason why this person might be in back pain is going to be like 2 different things. It's going to be 2 different things, 2 different bodies going on. Their programming is going to look totally different. And this is also why Googling exercises to get out of back pain is keeping you stuck. Because like, what if you don't have a flexibility or mobility issue and it's more of a strength issue? It's a strength balance issue. If you're stretching to get rid of your back pain, you could be making the problem worse if you need to get strong. So anyways, but where was I going? Got a little bit off on a tangent there, but strength balance testing. So what that is I'm looking at the strength of each movement pattern. So squatting, hinging, pushing, pulling, looking at your core strength. I'm looking at those things, but also I'm splitting your body in half and we're looking at it side to side. So in examples, one of my favorite tests to do on people is the box step-up test, which is basically where I'm looking at your leg strength right to left in the squatting pattern. A lot of times what I see with people in back pain, and I do this test, there's some type of huge discrepancy from right to left. Like I had this one client who could back squat over 300 pounds, but he could not do a single leg step up on one of his legs. And I'm like, okay, no wonder you are in back pain, because when you have a large strength discrepancy right to left, one side's going to be doing more work than the other. So think about it like this. If you were rowing a boat, like if you were in a boat, you're rowing, and you were only rowing on the left side, you might be good for a while, but over time, that left side is going to get tired and it's going to get irritated because you're not balancing things out with that other arm on the right side. Same thing happens with our body. If we have a strength discrepancy on one side, every time we are moving, we are increasing the compensation. So let's stick with the example of our legs here. And if I have a strength discrepancy right to left, every time I walk, I'm going to be favoring one side. Every time I go up the stairs, I'm going to be favoring one side. Over time, that is going to cause irritation. And so that is one of my favorite tests to do with people, but that's an example of like a strength balance side to side. The next common theme of people with back pain is not hinging correctly. If you're listening to the podcast, you're probably already working out or you have worked out in the past and you know what a hinge is, you know what a squat is, squat and a deadlift. But if you were deadlifting but you're actually doing more of a squatty deadlift, so that what that means is like in the positioning, you are just squatting and you're not actually setting your butt back and hinging over. It doesn't matter if you're doing the movement of a deadlift. If you are not feeling the movement in your glutes and your hamstrings and you're just like doing that squatty deadlift, that's going to be a problem. Because if you are, let's say, okay, I am doing a workout with deadlifts in it, and then my workouts for the rest of the week also have squatting. We are squatting way too much. We are squatting way too much, and that is going to cause problems. We want to have a balance, and we want to be hinging and squatting. But if we're not hinging properly and using the right muscles, then technically we're just squatting and not hinging. So if you are somebody who your back is always gets sore after deadlifts and you're not really like feeling the movement in your glutes or hamstrings too much, you probably have a squatty deadlift, and that's why your back is bothering you. And over time, again, that's going to cause problems. So that is another common theme. Let's see. Okay, the next one I have is being squat dominant versus hinge. So what I mean by that is like when we're looking at overall strength balance, our deadlift should be the heaviest thing that we can lift, right? So if our deadlift is 100 pounds, then our back squat should be around 80% of our deadlift. So if my deadlift is 100 pounds, I should be able to back squat 80 pounds. Hopefully you're tracking with me there. Sometimes people can squat the same as they deadlift, or even worse, they can squat more than they deadlift, and that's flip-flopped because we should be deadlifting heavier than we're squatting. And so if you're somebody who your back squat and your deadlift is the same, that's a problem. You need to be hinging more. You need to strengthen more. You need to strengthen your posterior chain. Or even if you're somebody who your deadlift is only like 10 pounds away from your squat, yeah, we need to be hinging more. And so anyways, to wrap this all in a tidy little bow, these are some common themes that I have seen in my back pain clients and the beginning process of how I would go about working with you. If you were to come to me and say, hey, I'm dealing with back pain, I want to get rid of it, we would go through that whole first process. And then based on those results and the data that I get from all of that testing, that helps me craft your perfect program and figure out where we need to go. Where's your starting point that makes sense, and progress you from there. And the whole goal with my clients who are in back pain is to give you something that you can handle and keep you moving. We don't want to have a flare up, because when you have a flare up, then you typically have to stop moving and wait until it calms down. So it's always better to start more conservative, increase over time, versus to jump straight to the hot cakes in the high volume, all that. That's not the approach I take with my clients. So anyways, I hope this episode was beneficial for you. If you are someone who is dealing with back pain, or if you know somebody who's dealing with back pain and isn't sure why, or maybe they think that they're sentenced to a life of back pain, I want you to share this episode with them, because I want people to know that their problem of back pain can most likely be solved through proper strength training and corrective exercises and through proper guidance and education. Like, you don't have to deal with this for the rest of your life. People know how to help you. I know how to help you. Any active life professional, any certified active life professional can help you. So if that is you, would love to hear from you, would love for you to reach out, even if it's just to have a conversation and say like, hey, I listened to your podcast, I resonated with this, and let's just talk. Would love to give value however I can. So you can find me on Instagram at AshleyCrocker127, or you can find me on my website, embracestrength.co. All right, until next time.